Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and we have Monsterverse Godzilla versus Bayverse Optimus Prime. One of the few projects I have now time to do. And if you guys are seeing this by possibly Christmas, happy holidays, and I hope you guys are not stuck during a snowstorm or anything like that, alright? But let's talk about it here. We have Monsterverse Godzilla versus Bayverse Optimus Prime. Both of them composite. However, some rules before we get into this here. So we won't be using the Godzilla X Kong versus the Justice League because I want to see how that fully goes on here, because I feel like there's still more stuff to go on in that. And so before we can, like, I guess you could say, get a good look at the scaling there. Yes, he one-shot Superman and he had just beaten Atom Smasher, but again, I need it to be complete in order to, I guess you could say, get a good ground on that scaling here. And we will also be using the PS4 game for Godzilla, as well, Legendary Godzilla goes against Heisei Godzilla in that one. And we will also be using Rise of the Darkspark for Transformers as well. So without further ado, let's begin. And we'll be going from base scaling to the cross scaling. Alright, so let's start off with Monsterverse Godzilla, alright? So where would I scale everyone's favorite kaiju? Well, in the standard Monsterverse, meaning just the movies, the comics, and the, I guess you could say the director's plot edit or whatever, this Godzilla is consistently planet to at least star level. He easily passes multiple multi-continental feats like the permanent extinction, Muto Prime, being able to break apart tectonic plates and stuff like that. And then you have King Ghidorah, who is a global extinction threat, which is again multi-continental. However, you also have the fact that Godzilla is able to punch a hole through the hollow earth, meaning he had to break through our earth layer, go through a wormhole, go through this wormhole here that leads to the hollow earth, and then punch through another layer into the hollow earth here. Like that alone should be multi-continental, and he's weakened during that time as well. Keep in mind as well, he's also been thrashing around monsters that should scale to his durability, which would again make him into the planetary ranges of power here. There's also, again, characters like Shimu, who we have yet to see, are pretty much monsters that are capable of multi-continental power, being able to cause the entire Ice Age and stuff like that. And then Godzilla, with his burning form, is able to generate the heat of a red giant going supernova, which, again, you could easily put into the star level calcs if you really want to. Now, when it comes to the other scaling, and again, this is where we get the PS4 game, Godzilla scales, or at least Legendary Godzilla, would scale to Burning Godzilla. As when you guys actually play the game, there's only one of two characters that's going to show up. It's either Destroyer, or again, Monsterverse or Legendary Godzilla. Now, with the Heisei scaling, and you actually got, and you, excuse me, and you guys could actually go to Godzilla King of the Monsters channel, where he has a solid scaling for, I think, 3 versions of Heisei. You have the base, you have base Heisei, which is like 2 videos. Then you have Super Godzilla, which again is an alternate version of the Heisei Godzilla. And then you have Burning Godzilla. So he has, around 4 videos. My apologies. So yeah, go to him, sub to his channel. I'll leave a link in the description below. And yeah, you guys go and enjoy yourselves over there. So how strong is Heisei Godzilla? Where would I tier this Godzilla, right? Heisei Godzilla is easily in the, and again, this is going by the super gravity metas, and that would be 12th dimensional. You see, super gravity is a 11-dimensional, it's pretty much 11-dimensional by our standards of science, right? And Godzilla would scale above this because he would scale above Space Godzilla. You can even scale him above Mogira, putting him at another higher level because Mogira was able to harm and even damage the likes of Space Godzilla here. And again, this would go all the way back to Legendary, who was able to fight against Burning Godzilla. And again, I guess if you played the game wrong, you lose. Or if the timer runs out, Burning Godzilla loses to Legendary Godzilla. It's pretty simple and straightforward, right? And again, with Heisei Godzilla fighting against the other Japanese gods like Yamato no Orochi, Utsuno Ikuzagami, characters that can easily bend and destroy things on a fifth or fourth dimensional level, even bending hyperspace, which again would allow them to harm these fourth to fifth dimensional entities. There's also characters like Zone Fighter and etc., who also have whatchamacallit, like fifth dimensional attack potency and stuff here. And again, Godzilla is just consistently scaling above that here. Easily in the 12th dimensional levels if you really want to get it there. Or again, the complex multiversal. Or again, if you wanted to get it there, if you wanted to say it, hyperversal, meaning legendary Godzilla scaling to a burning Godzilla, which is stronger than this. You could easily say is in the 12th dimensional levels, or again in the hyperversal categories. Again, that's if you wanted to get it there, but again, I'm going to simplify it here and just keep it at the complex multiversal here. So yeah, legendary Godzilla easily scaling to Heisei Godzilla would be a 12th dimensional entity. All right, I think that's kind of simple, and I think that's pretty straightforward here. I don't think there really is a need to go higher. And again, I just think that, he has his, well, in all honesty, he just has his standard abilities, Atomic Breath, he can use the nuclear pulse when he's in his burning form, but his burning form apparently has a time limit. Apparently, after 3 nuclear pulses, it just goes off, But hey, that's going to be all for Legendary Godzilla, but let's move on to Optimus Prime. Now, Bayverse Optimus Prime can actually get to some ridiculous levels if you really start reading the novels, using the bios and stuff for the characters here. And again, the Last Night version of him is the strongest iteration of him. It's his strongest version, his strongest form here. It's the Optimus above Optimus. Now, again, he is a bit tired in this movie, but what I'm trying to say here is this form of Optimus at this point in time would be the strongest character in the Bayverse here. Now, Optimus Prime himself, other than being a million-year-old veteran fighting Autobot leader who's been fighting a war, so obviously he's battle hardened, right, would scale to things like the Allspark and the Star Harvester, which are around solar system level. The reason why he would scale to this is because Megatron was confirmed to have the ability to be able to absorb these powers. And again, Optimus having the Matrix, which was able to power up Star Harvesters in the past and in the present as well, with Optimus even being able to destroy the Star Harvester pretty easily. Keep in mind as well, Optimus will also scale above Decepticons that are able to whack apart even the even Allspark enhanced Autobots, which again would put them around at least star level. Characters such as Blackout were confirmed to be next to nothing against Optimus Prime here. And this is actually confirmed in the novels even further when Jazz, again, Optimus Prime's right-hand man who would scale below him in Megatron, is able to handle him, Bone Crusher, and Frenzy like it's absolutely nothing. You could also scale this Optimus Prime to like Universal, maybe even Multiversal as well, considering how Universal streams work within the Transformers Omniverse, with the Universal streams basically being continuities themselves that are infinite in size, meaning each universe is infinite in size, but these alternate universes would also be counted as their own individual separate timelines, but connected to the main universe. So essentially, the Bayverse movies and the, let's say, I would probably say the prequel comic, Transformers Defiance, and then the Revenge of the Fallen comics are probably where the main timeline is, with Dark in the Moon, the movie, being the, I guess you could say, the alternate way the story goes, with Dark in the Moon comics actually being the original way it goes. I know it's a bit weird, but again, the reason why the comics take a different path than the movies is because the comics were, excuse me, the comics were the original ending for the movie, but unfortunately somebody had, I guess they got hacked and they leaked it, so Michael Bay was like, nah, we gonna change it up. So again, yeah, it is what it is here. But again, him scaling to the Fallen, who was confirmed to be the strongest of his brothers, and was able to kill just about all of them before being sealed away by Prima, with him again being able to have, confirmation that he's able to destroy creation. I think that's pretty much just enough here. Optimus Prime, in terms of speed, you could easily get him to FTL. This is because he's able to intercept Megatron and even characters like Bumblebee, Ironhide, Jazz, and etc. are able to actually react to the original Decepticons' firepower back on Cybertron, which was more in the energy blast departments. This is also because Decepticon Seekers and even general Decepticon flyers like Megatron, Starscream, Thundercracker, Ramjet, and etc. characters that Optimus Prime, Jazz, and even the other Autobots have beaten are capable of flying through space like it's nothing and actually use that speed to dive bomb their opponents. They've even reacted to Megatron in space in a prequel comic. Now, with the Darkspark scaling, you can easily get this Optimus Prime to multiversal, possibly even higher levels into the multiversal category, like high multiversal or complex multiversal. We'll go to complex multiversal, as the hyperversal stuff is also there, with Optimus scaling to a lockdown that had the Darkspark and was using its manipulation to freeze time. This is important because the Darkspark itself can produce such an explosion that it launched itself through multiple universal streams, aka multiple multiverses, till it reached Cloud World. Cloud World is the highest plane in the Transformers multiverse. It's basically kind of like a police hub or a police universe that pretty much watches over the multiverse, where trans-techs exist, and trans-techs are basically these higher dimensional beings, kind of like alternatives, but they probably should be higher, with the alternative plane being a 10 plus dimensional space where these beings exist. And the Darkspark was able to travel to that plane before being, I guess you could say, sent to the Bayverse plane. And again, Optimus was able to fight against a lockdown who was manipulating that kind of power. So, yeah, that Optimus Prime is ridiculously strong. All right, so we're here. We're at the breakdown, all right? And hope you guys enjoyed that. I tried to simplify it and shorten it as best as I can, as when we actually get to the new year, I'm actually just going to start going right into the feats here, unless it's a new character I'm introducing to the channel. So, yeah, who do I think wins this matchup more often than not? Now, again, both of these guys can get into the complex multiversal to hyperversal stages pretty easily with scaling. And again, they have their own ways of getting it, especially with this crossverse scaling. If we kept them to their individual scalings, I do think Optimus Prime has, I would probably say he does get a little bit of a difficult time. I mean, lower tier characters have been giving harder times to some higher tier characters before. And I do think Godzilla is still physically more powerful than Optimus Prime. I mean, he's bigger, he's got more weight behind his power and stuff. But again, I don't really think he would be able to take out Optimus in a full-fledged battle. I do think Optimus Prime is faster. Their durability is really just about equal here, especially when it comes to like base to base stats here. And again, you could even still lowball the solar system stuff to around star level. And again, they're both star tier characters, so it really wouldn't matter. However, when it comes to their higher ends and their composite scaling, Optimus Prime has a bit higher, if not just about as high as Godzilla here. However, what I think gives him the edge here is that he is consistently faster here. Now, I'm sorry if I didn't talk about Monsterverse Godzilla's speed, but it can be comparable to Heisei, easily faster than light, come from characters like Space Godzilla, King Ghidorah, Rodan, Ultraman, and stuff like that. Characters who are able to casually fly through space like it's absolutely nothing, and even escape black holes. So, yeah, I think it's pretty simple here that both of these characters are faster than light. Optimus Prime has his weapons like his Sword of Judgment and stuff like that here. But again, if I have to give the first win to somebody, I think it would actually be Optimus. He's more skilled. He's able to damage Godzilla, and he has the, well, I guess you say the tools to really just put him down here. I think that it'll be a long and hard-fought battle between the both of them, with each one claiming their own victories. But at the end of the day, I do think Optimus has a better chance of putting down Legendary Godzilla. But hey, let me know what you guys think down below. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and share it with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope you guys have a blessed day and a Merry Christmas. Peace.